Hey, what's up, my friends? Before I start, I just want to say that my channel may be taking a little detour. Not even a detour. We may be optimizing just a little bit. In preparation for my Skillshare class that I want to release this summer, I'll be getting a new camera. In fact, I already have it. So the quality should be better. The sound should be better. I just don't know if I'm going to be using it for my YouTube videos. I still want to. It was always my goal to build up this page to 1,000 subscribers before I started stepping my game up, so to speak. I always feel like I bring it, but anyway, 18. 5 things uh, that I want my that I would want my 18-year-old self to know. So if you're 18, if you're younger than me, I'm 28 years old. I still feel like I have the whole world ahead of me, so I'm not too bothered. But I wish I would have known these things when I was 18. So the first thing is, in order to grow, you're going to lose a lot of people, man. In this day and age, well, where I am now in my life, sometimes I may see people that I knew back in high school, and I forgot they ever even existed. But at one point, I saw them every day and hung out with them, and yada yada yada. I forget names, all types of stuff. But also, uh, after I graduated up to the point I would say maybe 22, 24, I don't know. I would hang around a lot of people who were going nowhere, okay? They would do the same thing every day. It'd be smoking and drinking and bullshit. And you check up on them now, they're still doing the same things, unfortunately. Now, if it is a problem, it's a problem of their own. It's not my problem. I only regret that I wasted my time doing nothing, just trying to be included, trying to feel included, and I still didn't feel included, which led me to the position I'm in now. But it could have been much better had I knew better. Had I known better. I was hanging around a lot of people who were up to no good. I mean, to me, they were cool, they were all right, and a lot of them made it out just fine. You know, but some, I mean, they were reckless, and we did reckless things, especially when we were a little bit younger than that. Um, but in order to grow, you're gonna have to leave some people behind. Okay, everybody can't go. The band ain't always gonna stay together. So you have to understand that. So the next thing, um, as you age, time will go by faster. So you really have to capture it and take it all in and make moves that really make sense to you and do meaningful things and make meaningful connections and not rob yourself of the future by saying, well, I can always do it tomorrow and things like that, and tomorrow never comes. And the problem is yours. You know what I'm saying? You're left with the bill. So you don't want to sit around waiting, twiddling your thumbs because you feel like you have the whole world ahead of you. You definitely want to capitalize and make the most out of it, because the older you get, it seems like if you haven't started yet, the older you get, the harder it is to start. You're stuck in your ways, you're tired, uninspired. You're bringing a lot of baggage with you, a lot of baggage from the past. It's just really hard to shake off. So if you're young and you have this fresh start into adulthood, which they will treat you as an adult, even though looking back at it, I think that most 18-year-olds are really just kids. It's a thin line. It's like I even thought about this when I was 17. I was like, wow, today I'm still a kid. Tomorrow I'm an adult. And that's exactly how you get treated. Like, your parents will keep a strong ass leash on you until the day you turn 18, and then they say, okay, you can go. But they don't. A lot of parents don't prepare their kids to be adults. So, they kind of Google Gaga you all the way until you're 18, which is something that I don't want to do for my child, especially because I'm raising a girl. I want to give her a lot of game. I want her to be able to make her own decisions by the time she's 13 and be able to trust her. We'll see. Because I also feel like I'm going to be very strict, but that's going to have adverse effects. If anything, I'm going to be strict enough to put her into like taekwondo, just things like that, martial arts. So she at least know how to protect herself, make good decisions and things like that. Get her involved in and playing chess and other things that force you to think ahead. So as you age, time will just go by faster, man. You're gonna be you're gonna spend your days just you're gonna just looking like, damn, where's the time gone, man? Where's the time gone? Like even now, like before I started this video, I was like, it's 7 o'clock already. What did I do today? Death of a thousand cuts. A couple Instagram scrolls here, a couple book scrolls here, responding to texts, and Messenger and all that. And before you know, a couple hours done went by, and you didn't even really do anything. This is why I'm hard on myself now, because I know how fast time goes by, and I just want to be able to wrap my hands around its neck and strangle it and to tell it to sit the fuck down so I can get something done. All right. So the next thing is that it's okay to not know all the answers or what you want out of life. So you starting to see it now, more specifically with Obama's daughter. I forget what her name is. If it's Malia, I think her, the older one. They gave her a year off after high school to go to college. Now everybody may not have that luxury, but I think it would have. I'm not even going to. I was going to say I think it would have made a difference had I waited, but that definitely wasn't my issue. But you don't have to rush into things. Is what I'm saying. You don't have to be like, well, I'm out of high school, now I have to make this decision and make that decision. Now that kind of that brings me into my next point. Is that you start planning and start taking calculated risk while you're young, okay? There's a lot of room for trial and error, but you got to get involved with the trial and error, okay? You have to do something. This is your time, all right? You have no curfew at this point. Your parents might be expecting you to pay rent, but you can go ahead and get a part-time job if that's what you want. You can get a full-time job if that's what you want. You make it work for you, but always plan. Always go to your journal and just map out your day and things like that. The reason why I'm putting a lot of emphasis on this for 18-year-olds is because a lot of your peers will not be doing it. I'm 20 years old. I'm not 20. I'm 28 years old, and a lot of my peers don't do this, okay? A lot of people twice my age don't do this. Okay? So I think more importantly for the younger people out there, especially in this fast-paced life where popularity still somewhat matters to you and being included and all these things, it's important that you don't lose grip of planning out your day, staying in touch with how you're feeling at this current moment, and some of the things that you do want out of life. Now, again, you don't need to know everything, but and this is kind of split down the middle, because I would say that you pursue your passions. Some people say don't pursue your passions, get good at something, and then you'll be passionate about that. Whatever conclusion you may come to, just decide. And whatever you decide on, it doesn't have to be a lifelong thing, but just choose a life of exploration. Okay? So the next thing I wanted to speak on, which I got it listed as the final thing, but college isn't the only way, as I tie a couple of my previous points together. Well, let me just tell you a little something about me. In high school, in my senior year, after the first quarter, I kind of dropped out. I had a problem with depression. It was so severe, and I was experimenting with over-the-counter drugs, and so I was out for the rest of the school year. And towards the end, I started doing some homeschool, and then they let me graduate. Okay. So I was happy to have that behind me, and once I realized that I was going to be graduating, the first thing I tried to do was to get myself into a college so I can have the summer to do what I've always been doing every summer, and that's just bullshit. Just piss away my time. And so I did. And what I did was I call myself doing a responsible thing, getting to college. I would be the first male to go to college in my family because I was the first male to graduate high school in my family, and that was just a big thing. I already felt like I was winning, okay? You know, my dad, he died when he was 17. He probably dropped out before that. You know what I'm saying? So I really felt like I was winning. My mom didn't graduate high school. You know, this is a big thing to her. You know, I wasn't even trying to walk across the stage, but you know, they kind of guilted me into it. Oh, it's not about you, it's about you. Da, 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 da. You know, but I did it anyway, and I just wanted to get into the first school I could get into. So I signed up for. You know what I signed up for? I signed up for ITT Tech. That's not even a school anymore. It wasn't even a college. Okay, and after uh, one semester, I dropped out. I didn't get on top of it to, you know, cancel and all that. So my debt went up to like $9,000 when it was supposed to be 2,500. And right now I'm still having trouble with it. I got to consolidate it at one point, and then because I started making over $20,000, you know, they picked it right back on up, and I just kept it on the back burner because I was so obligated with so many other things. I had so many other obligations. I had to do so much, and I was always tired that didn't even I didn't even bother to check up on that to fix that issue. Um, and looking back at it, like I was so convinced that I couldn't even get into an actual college, so I didn't try. You know, I didn't try to get into not even a junior college. You know, not even a community college. Man, I went to a technical school. Nobody was talking to me about apprenticeships and trade school, all those things. It would have saved me a lot of. I would have been, you know, a lot more successful in that regard by now. Okay. Now, ultimately, my goal is it to work for somebody else, or you know, to be an electrician and things like. But that would have been great for somebody coming out of school, 18 years old. Now you're working as an electrician apprentice, and you're 22. You know, and you fast forward 4 years, and at 22, you're an electrician. Okay, making some pretty good money. That would have been a much better choice. In fact, you know, because it doesn't hurt to reach out. If you're 18 years old, you're about to graduate high school, or you're fairly young, you're 20, 21, 19, whatever, um, look into trade schools, apprenticeships, as well as college, okay? I kind of wish I did have that experience, live the college life on college campus and things like that. It would be very interesting to see how I would have done. But that's behind me now. I'm not even looking back with too much disdain or too much disgust. I could really do without with all of that debt. I'd rather have a different type of debt, if you know what I mean. You know, a loan for rental property or business loan, what have you. That's the type of debt that I would take on. That's what I'm doing right now. You know, because you could use your credit cards or your credit line of credit as leverage to make some powerful moves. Okay, see, so that's the message that I just wanted to get across to a lot of you young people. One thing that I did that may be exclusive just for me is that when I was 18, I had an inheritance of $20,000. It was owed to my father. I forgot why. He was supposed to get it when he was 18, but because he died and I was the only heir, um, I inherited that money and I got it when I was 18. But I had no discipline, even though I had the right intentions. I wanted to make some money, and I ended up falling into, scams. You know, people say, "Oh, I'll get you into real estate with doing this," and I bought my mom a car, and I bought myself a car. I put money down for my mom to get a car, and I put down money for myself to get a car. Bought a lot of weed, some clothes, and ultimately I ran through that money. I wasn't 100% irresponsible, but I wish I would have gotten a job and had that money to sit on. And I wish I had the knowledge that I have now, because then I would have made some great investments with that money. So definitely, if you do have some money coming out of high school, look towards making some investments. Think long term and also short term. Okay, so I mean, I could keep going on with this list. Um, I really wanted to, but I thought that I would just limit to 5 things because I knew I was going to throw in some other nuggets. And to wrap it all up, I just want to say it's okay to not know everything. It's okay to feel lost, but don't be afraid to take shots. Don't be afraid to break free of your parents' declaration, their demands, and things like that, especially if they are unhappy. Okay? Although I still see 18-year-olds as kids, society doesn't see that, the system doesn't see that. You know, it's time to make some moves, okay? So you want to start right now while you're pretty much a young dog, so you don't get stuck in your ways, so you don't get caught up in the depression of the realities that come with being an adult, because we've been sold a lot of things and we are very much underprepared when it comes to adulthood. I feel myself playing a lot of catch up these days, and I see it with other people who just aren't there yet, man. Like, I mean, even people in their 50s and their 40s, they just aren't there. So it's just amazing to see these people now that I'm an adult, well into adulthood, and I just think to myself sometimes, like, wow, you know, when I was a child, they seemed very much mature, and they led me, and I didn't question it. I just did what they told me to do. Now looking at them now, I wouldn't let them lead my kids. Okay, you know, I'm uncomfortable with leaving my daughter around my mom for too long, especially when she get older. Like the things that my mom has envisioned for my daughter, like alone, is just scary. Luckily, she doesn't have too much of a say in that, boy. You know, but anyway, not to bag on my mom and things like that, but look, I'm an adult now. This is my life. You're an adult now. That's your life. You have to do what's ultimately going to make you happy. You may not know what that thing is, but I don't think it's going to come as a result of just blindly following out of fear, out of whatever. That's not what's going to make you happy, man. Especially if you're young and ambitious right now, and you want to get a great start on adulthood. Um, I'm not going to be the one to burst your bubble, but you may find that life and the circumstances regarding it may knock you down a couple notches. So it's just best to prepare for that the best way that you know how, and don't let this precious opportunity slip away, so you don't have to look back at your life thinking what if, and you know, just with a lot of resentment. You can be whoever you want to be, truly. You can craft yourself into whatever masterpiece you want to be. Just outwork people and outwork yourself, outwork the younger you, outwork the version of yourself from yesterday, okay? And don't spend too much time worrying about how high school didn't prep you, or how they never, you know, we learned a lot of things that we can't really apply to life. Okay, that's all behind you. Here you are right now. Even though I could argue quite a bit of those things, man. Look, for example, um, I definitely had to do some work, but I think public school, well, not even public school, but I mean school in general, I think it's pretty good for people who want to be writers. You know, your parents aren't, for the most part, your parents aren't going to teach you how to be writers and things like that. As far as math goes, it gets your brain operating on a higher level. It forces you to think quickly, and teaches you problem solving and things like that. Yeah, they may be missing out on a lot of classes. They may be missing out on business classes, for example, but who's going to teach those business classes, man? The people you really want to learn from, they're running businesses. Okay, so if you're fortunate enough to work around business owners for free, or for a little something something, you'll learn quite a bit. You'll get a great return on your investment of time. Okay, so that's very important. Um, and I also would encourage you all to have an entrepreneurial mindset, and don't be an easy sell. Don't buy into everything that they're selling you, because there's a lot of little quick fixes out there, but they never hold up, man. They never hold up. That's what actually where a lot of my money went as well. So I was talking about real estate and People had a lawsuit against this guy, but there was a lot of other people selling me businesses in a box, just plug and play, and none of them panned out. None of them panned out. So you definitely want to be very vigilant, um, and just, bust your ass, okay? Resolve to, like I said, outwork yourself and outwork your peers, and it's going to give you even more promising prospects as far as peers go, and the world will notice. Okay, you may be dealing with a lot of loneliness in the years to come, but it'll all be worth it so long as you strengthen your vision, you stay consistent in your exploration, and you lead with gratitude. All right. So I hope this helps. Take care, my friends.